pleasure and a privilege to welcome the graduates, families, friends, faculty, and staff to these commencement exercises concluding the university's 163rd academic year. We rejoice in commemorating the achievement of these students in reaching the milestone represented and richly symbolized by the beautiful and time-honored ritual of commencement. The Reverend Scott Kirshner, chaplain to the university, will offer an invocation.
Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel wrote, "Our goal should be to live life in radical amazement, to get up in the morning and look at the world in a way that takes nothing for granted. To be spiritual is to be amazed." This past year, we have certainly learned to take nothing for granted. In the spirit of Rabbi Heschel's call to approach life with radical amazement, I offer this prayer. Holy One, on this day of endings and new beginnings, of journeys completed and new horizons awaiting, of accomplishment and celebration, we take nothing for granted and lift our hearts in gratitude and praise. Above all, we give thanks for each graduate, for the unique gifts each has brought to this community of learning, and each will bear from this place for lives of leadership and service, lives equipped to make a difference not only for themselves, but for the world. We are grateful for and amazed at the community of people, families, mentors, friends, who have encouraged and supported each graduate we celebrate today. We are grateful for and amazed at professors whose lives of scholarship and teaching have inspired and instructed in innumerable ways. And in this pandemic year, we are grateful for and amazed at the hard, selfless, and often unseen work of so many, and the constant vigilance we have all had to maintain to make it to this day. In countless ways and for countless reasons, it could have been otherwise, but here we are. And to each of you graduates, here you are. On this day of celebration, we take nothing for granted, but lift our hearts in humble gratitude and simple amazement. With Dag Hammarskjöld, we can say, for all that has been, thank you. And for all that will be, yes. In your holy names, amen. Please remain standing. The university choir, directed by Dr. Amy Voorhees, will perform America the Beautiful.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. I'm Signe Gates, Chair of the Susquehanna University Board of Trustees and a proud Susquehanna alumna. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I bring congratulations to Susquehanna's class of 2021 and welcome you now into the remarkable company of all Susquehanna alumni. Graduates, through your leadership, achievement, service, and character, you represent Susquehanna to the world. What you do and how you choose to do it will impact others. From this day forward, your life will reflect not only on you, but also on Susquehanna and the graduates who have come before you and will follow you. We hope you will choose to be advocates for Susquehanna as well as alumni, and that you will find your own way of making a difference in other people's lives. In that way, you will strengthen our institution and elevate the value of your degree. As students, every one of you has benefited from the generosity of those who came before you. Most of them did not know you, but they were confident that you and your future were worth their gifts. For each of you, at least one alum has helped make your extraordinary experience at Susquehanna possible. Alumni wanted to support you in so many ways, starting with the gifts of financial support and scholarships and awards during your 4-year academic journey, and continuing on to our magnificent campus, including the Center for Environmental Education and Research, the Bloomberg terminals in the trading room of the Sigmund Weiss School of Business, the Doug Arthur Stadium, the beehives, the sheep, the science lab, the advanced scientific equipment, and so many more campus enhancements from the end of University Avenue to the borders of the 18th Street Commons. The gifts and commitments of alumni donors are grounded in their belief that you will use your Susquehanna degree to be leaders and partners who will collaborate to build a healthy global society and inspire a culture of philanthropy. 256 of you are wearing a special cord today that identifies you as a Susquehanna champion. Special congratulations to you for completing the Senior Champions program. You contributed to and participated in a series of activities including giving, community service, career preparation, student recruitment, and school spirit. Many of you advocated for 1SU, our Day of Giving, that brought in 1,807 donors. We want and need all of you as champions in the future, so I invite you to look for opportunities to help students who are coming after you. We hope you will give of yourself and continue to be an SU champion through service, giving back, and engagement. In your 4 years on this beautiful campus, you have developed relationships with peers, faculty, and others who are likely to be lifetime connections for you. Know, too, that your connection with the university will last a lifetime. You are entering a network of more than 20,000 alumni for whom a continuing connection with Susquehanna is important, and for whom the orange and maroon are not just school colors. They are a banner of the exceptional. I'm proud to be part of that Susquehanna network, and I'm delighted to count you among my fellow alumni. Congratulations and best wishes.
We did it. Thank you, Signe, and thank you to the University Choir and Dr. Voorhees for that wonderful performance of America the Beautiful. Special thanks to Dr. Marcus Krieger for overseeing today's music and all our student musicians for their contributions to this ceremony. We acknowledge the Susquehannock people whose name we bear It means those who live in a place where water is heard grating on the shore, commonly known as the river people because they lived in unanimity and balance with the river and land. This campus rests on their unsurrendered territory, and we strive to honor their memory by being mindful stewards of this beautiful place. One of the distinguishing factors of being Susquehanna alumni is a common set of experiences tied to university traditions. These traditions provide stability in a rapidly changing world. Like sacraments, our university traditions are outward signs of inward truths. They are actions that signify values that are at the core of our institutional identity, and they bind us as members of a rare and meaning-filled community. These treasured traditions include Move-In Day, SU Give, Homecoming, Family Weekend, Thanksgiving Dinner, Candlelight, Martin Luther King Day, and SU Serve, a tradition celebrated by thousands of alumni across the nation and around the world, giving tens of thousands of service hours to community organizations every year, and one that I encourage you to continue as you become leaders in your new communities. Susquehanna traditions bridge time and space to connect generations of Susquehannans to each other and to this special place. Many of you are wearing traditions cords that reflect your engagement in activities that strengthen our sense of community and enrich the lives of all who come here to study and learn. The ginkgo has become a traditional symbol of the university. The ginkgo's longevity and resilience mirror the strength of the Susquehanna community. This week, you all received a pin portraying a ginkgo leaf. We hope you will wear it with pride, knowing that you are part of a community that from its roots in the middle of the 19th century has been a place where students gathered to learn how they could make the world a better place. Indeed, that is our first and most revered tradition. We are gathered here to celebrate your graduation, but we are also here to celebrate and recognize the accomplishments of the many people who made this day possible. First, I would like to ask the faculty and staff present to stand so our graduates can express their gratitude. These are the people who have sustained, frustrated, and inspired you in your journeys at Susquehanna. You can best honor them by applying what you have learned from them in your careers and as you become leaders in your communities. Next, would the families and friends of our graduates stand to be recognized and thanked? There are a lot of you, I know you're there. These are the people who encouraged you, loved you, and made significant sacrifices so you could be here. They will continue to be with you as you undertake the next steps of your respective odysseys. Lastly, we should take a moment to think about those whose gifts have made it possible for all of us to be here. Susquehanna began as a gift of land and funds from the leaders of Selinsgrove to create the Missionary Institute and a collegiate home for the daughters and sons of local families who were not called to religious service. Since then, every Susquehanna student has benefited in significant ways from the support of alumni and friends of the university, many of whom provided gifts to support generations of students they would never see. It is a remarkable and inspiring legacy. I will always think of you as my class. We came in together, and I'm sure that none of us anticipated how these 4 years would play out. The purpose of a liberal arts education is to provide you with a broad base of knowledge and a developing sense of the profound interconnectedness of things and ideas. Those of you who know our mission statement, please join me. Susquehanna educates students for productive, creative, and reflective lives of achievement, leadership, and service in a diverse, dynamic, and interdependent world. This is not a pithy slogan, it is the foundation of global citizenship. Over the coming years, I hope you will reflect on how these lofty goals unfold in your own lives and how your experiences at Susquehanna cultivated your capacity to live our mission to the fullest. I often hear students and colleagues say, in the real world, as if we were a community of avatars. Plato's idealized academy in Arcadia was an attempt to shelter reflective learning from the noise and distractions of daily life, entirely so his students could focus on the big issues of their real world, just as you have. If there were ever any legitimacy to college life being in the shelter of the ivory tower, over the past 2 years, the real world breached the ramparts and made itself quite at home. The pandemic, social unrest, advocating for racial equity, and a nation and world torn apart by divisive tribalism moved into our Arcadia, our Susquehanna. But it didn't daunt our mission, and it didn't compromise your education. Artists, musicians, and actors went to extraordinary lengths to reach audiences who had a newfound understanding of what the arts mean to them and how they serve as a lens for reading the ever more complex text that is our lives. Social scientists have watched the fraying of social systems, community mores, and a loss of faith in institutions once deemed to be at the center of our common good. Those in the humanities have witnessed existential dilemmas about what justice means, for whom, and why. And they have seen historically central ideologies aggressively challenged for good and bad. Scientists learned that knowledge and facts alone are inadequate tools to convince the populace to do what is in their own and our collective best interest. The world has been our classroom. In our first semester together, I spoke of Diogenes, referring to himself as a citizen of the world. We now know that that is what we are, because we have all become students of the world. The Enlightenment was a phenomenal moment in our history in every sense of the word. Political upheavals, scientific revolutions, and economic transformations kindled an intellectual transfiguration that acknowledged the capacity of science to understand the world around us, provide models of a just and free society, and most importantly, recognized and elevated the value and capacity of the individual. The Enlightenment was the birthplace of the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights, and of the American and French Revolutions. Sadly, it was also the forge for expanding social stratification and slavery. The failure of the Enlightenment was that it was neither universally distributed nor equitably applied. That failure was the crucible for the leading challenges of our age. How do we enact the bold and beautiful ideas of the Enlightenment fairly and audaciously to all? And how do we learn from the history of our failures and struggles to achieve those lofty yet fundamental goals? This is what it will mean to achieve, lead, and serve. This is what it will mean to be better. What can we learn from history, and what can we learn from our present experience that can make those goals a reality? We can only fully learn from our past by acknowledging all of it, the good and the bad. We must not reject the good because of its association with the bad, and we dare not ignore the bad because we have the capacity to do far worse if we deny the sins of our past. As you all know, the Renaissance refers to a rebirth. Often we lose sight of how literal that name was. We acknowledge the remarkable flourishing of arts, sciences, and literature, but those achievements were connected to a rediscovery, a rebirth of philosophy, literature, and science from ancient Greece and Rome. One of the great architectural achievements of the Renaissance was the construction of the dome on the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore in Florence. When Filippo Brunelleschi accepted the commission to design the dome, no one knew how to construct a dome of that size. And yet the Pantheon in Rome, which is even wider, had been built by the Romans over 1,300 years earlier. We lost over 1,000 years of ideas and technology because of their association with other ideas and practices that rightfully remain in our past. You've spent the past 4 years in a marketplace of ideas. Our future success will depend on its continued breadth and free exchange. And fortunately, you have learned to discern truth from opinion and facts from propaganda. You have become sophists whose goal is to divine the truth and lift up the good. You have seen firsthand how truly interdependent we are. We are able to be here today because you chose to work as a community for the common good. And nearly every setback we experienced resulted from a moment when someone lost sight of that. As leaders, you must always choose the common good. Class of 2021, you are graduating into a world of unprecedented complexity and challenge. But I am hopeful because I know what you can do. I'm so proud of you, of what you have accomplished, and even prouder of what you will achieve. Congratulations. I am now pleased to invite Ms. Morgan Dubbs to the podium. Morgan has been an exemplary student leader highlighted by her service as president of the Student Government Association. Morgan is from Center County, Pennsylvania. She is a triple major in political science, psychology, and public policy. She completed her GO program in the Netherlands and is active in many student organizations, including the Order of Omega Greek Honor Society, Alpha Phi Omega Service Fraternity, and Kappa Delta Sorority. Morgan has held internships with the President Judge of the 17th Judicial District, the Office of the Controller of Dauphin County, and Pennsylvania State Senator Jake Corman. Please join me in welcoming Morgan Dubbs.
Thank you, President Green, and good afternoon, everyone. The first time I ever ventured to Susquehanna, it was a dreary, dreary day. Raining cats and dogs, the kind of day you just want to stay inside and do nothing. But oddly enough, upon setting foot onto this campus, I felt at home, as I'm sure most of you did when visiting here for the first time, whether it was rain or shine. I thought I'd need to visit again when the weather was nicer, just to be sure that this was the place I wanted to spend the next 4 years of my life. My next visit, it poured. And the next time after that, it rained too. I soon ran out of days to visit before it was decision day. Although I had wished for a sunny visit, I soon realized that everything happens for a reason. I knew that if I fell in love with Susquehanna at its worst, I'd love it even more at its best. And oh, how right I was. Every rainy day since our arrival, I have fell in love with Susquehanna even more. Those first visits were highlighted by the beautiful brick buildings that make up our campus, the kind faculty and staff, and even some upperclassmen too. But now I know why I was so hesitant to commit to Susquehanna. Something was missing from those first visits. All of you. We have been challenged in ways no class before us ever has. Yet here we sit, 4 years later, about to embark on the next part of our journey. At different times throughout our journey here, it seemed as though those early days were 10 years ago. But today, it seems like just yesterday. Think about how far we have come. When we first arrived, some of us didn't even know how to make Easy Mac, evidenced by what seemed to be a competition between Reed, Smith, and Akins for which hall could set off the most fire alarms. That is the one reason you can be thankful for living in Hassinger. Senior year, we rarely set off any fire alarms at all, and now that's what I call a quality education. When I first welcomed the first year class back in August, I challenged them to make the most of their time at Susquehanna. I encouraged them to take more walks down to the river, to utilize the Career Development Center and Garrett Sports Complex, and to eat in the caf even when they didn't like what was on the menu. Because one day, 4 years later, your days as a student run out. No more days with sunshine or rain. I challenged those first years to take advantage of everything Susquehanna has to offer. And during your time at SU, I hope you've done just that. I hope you've cheered on your fellow Riverhawks at athletic events, concerts, musicals, and philanthropy events. I hope you enjoyed a tray night, or two, and I hope you've ran through the fountain. I am confident that you made the most of your Susquehanna experience, and you have made memories that will long outlast today's ceremony. If nothing else, you've made the most of your academic experience, as evidenced by the diploma you will receive in just a few short minutes. I apologize for mentioning academics. I saw a few people tense up, but it's okay, guys. Everything's turned in now, and you will have a very expensive piece of paper for the rest of your life as proof of that. Today, I charge you with this. Don't stop living and learning, and especially having fun. Susquehanna was but one stop along your journey. Take your memories, the lessons, and knowledge from SU, and go make the world a better place. As two of my favorite professors so eloquently put it, you've milked this place for everything it's got. It's time to move on. Along your path, there will surely be a little sunshine and a little rain. But remember, rain can be a good thing. I wouldn't be here without it. And I wouldn't be on stage without each and every one of you, the class of 2021. I am proud of each of you and the ways that you have advocated for yourselves and each other these last 4 years. I am proud of the ways in which you've challenged yourselves to achieve great success. And lastly, I'm so grateful to call each of you friends. Congratulations to us.
The John C. Horn Award for Distinguished Scholarship and Creative Activity memorializes Dr. John C. Horn, a former longtime member and chairperson of the Board of Directors of the university. The award recognizes a faculty member for outstanding scholarship and conscientious service to the university, and the recipient offers a public lecture in the following academic year. This year's recipient received her PhD from Texas A&M University and joined the Susquehanna University faculty in 1993. Since that time, she has built up an impressive record of publications and externally supported research, including grants from the National Science Foundation. She came to Susquehanna with a well-developed research expertise in genetics and immunology. Her pioneering work is aimed at discovering new species of bacteria that adapted and evolved to grow in high temperature and high sulfur environments around the Centralia mine fire in central PA. Additionally, she has been a leader in establishing inter-university collaborations with Penn State, Duquesne, Juliata, and Lycoming to increase undergraduate access to next-generation sequencing technology. She's also a prolific presenter at conferences, often with her undergraduate collaborators. Please join President Green and me in congratulating this year's John C. Horn Distinguished Scholarship and Creative Activity Award winner, Professor of Biology, Tammy Tobin.
Oh my goodness.
This is one of the great privileges of my role at the university, and we've never gotten to do it this way before, but it is my honor to inform you that you are this year's recipient of the John Horn Award.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I'm not going to cry on camera. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Wow.
The Donald D. Housley Teaching Award recognizes a distinguished member of the faculty who served from 1967 to 2003, when he retired as the Charles B. Degenstein Professor Emeritus of History. An extraordinary and highly respected teacher in his own right, Dr. Housley also authored Susquehanna University 1858-2000, A Goodly Heritage, Definitive History of the University. This year's recipient of the Donald D. Housley Teaching Award joined the Susquehanna University faculty in 2016. He received his PhD from the University of California, Davis. One of his colleagues described him as a skilled teacher who is constantly seeking to improve his courses and his craft, and who above all else offers the highest level of support for his students. He cares deeply about teaching and supporting each student. He proactively reaches out to struggling students and asks them to meet with him during office hours. He then develops a rapport with these students and quickly learns about the obstacles or challenges impeding their ability in the classroom. He then seeks to develop solutions, working with the students and the available support at SU. A student nominated described this professor as an outstanding educator, both inside and outside of the classroom. He's one of the most genuine individuals I've ever met. The world needs more educators like him. Please join President Green and me in honoring this year's Donald D. Housley Teaching Award recipient, Associate Professor of Political Science, Rolf Peterson.
President Green, hello.
Hello, Rolf. How are you?
Provost Ramsaran.
This looks like an intervention, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. What have I won?
Well, it's the best kind of intervention in that I have the great privilege of informing you that you have been named this year's Don Housley Excellence in Teaching Award winner.
Wow, amazing. Well, thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
It's much deserved, and of course, there's nothing that's more at the core of our mission than the way in which we engage students in learning, and your colleagues and your students have recognized the ways in which you have provided really extraordinary service with that.
Wow. Well, thank you so much. Can I stand up and shake your hand?
You sure? We can elbow.
Yes. Congratulations. The Lawrence A. Lemons Distinguished Advising Award memorializes a master teacher, public school teacher, and devoted advisor to students who served the youth of the Nebraska Panhandle for more than 50 years. This year's recipient received his BFA from Shepherd College and an MFA from East Tennessee State University. He joined the Susquehanna community in 2002 and built one of the most successful programs at the university. He built his professional resume both as a practitioner and a scholar. His outstanding teaching and scholarship earned him both the Teaching Award and the Horn Award, respectively. With this award, he will have received all three of Susquehanna's faculty awards. He strongly believed in the duty of faculty members to know the curriculum and to have the understanding and perspective necessary to guide students toward a degree. He was also an excellent mentor to his students, defining the concept of intrusive advising long before it was popular, and spent long hours informally meeting with his students, pushing them to excel. Alumni have glowing stories about him, expressing their deep appreciation that he always told the truth and prepared them to persevere and to succeed. He helped his students to discover who they wanted to be at Susquehanna and beyond. Please join President Green and me in awarding this year's Lawrence A. Lemons Distinguished Academic Advising Award posthumously to Professor of Art and Graphic Design, Mark Futeg.
It is now my pleasure to be joined by Ms. Signe Gates, Chair of the Board of Trustees of Susquehanna University. Chair Gates, will you please formally present our honorary degree candidates?
The tradition of conferring honorary degrees upon deserving individuals dates back to 1479, when Lionel Woodville was honored at the University of Oxford for his service as the institution's chancellor. Since then, the honorary degree establishes an informal but strong association between the recipient and the institution. Today, we recognize two individuals whose accomplishments reflect admirably the goals of a Susquehanna education and our mission of achievement, leadership, and service. They share a common commitment with Susquehanna to education, to excellence, and to making a difference for the greater good. Mr. President, on May 16th, we will honor William A. Lewis, Jr. with the honorary degree Doctor of Humane Letters.
Tenacious, generous, insightful. These are just some of the words that define Bill Lewis. Bill Lewis graduated in 1968 with a degree in political science, becoming the university's first African-American graduate. After earning his law degree from Boston University, he spent 3 years as an assistant district attorney in Philadelphia before heading to Washington, where for the next 36 years, he worked for the federal government or federal agencies, almost exclusively focusing on civil rights and diversity issues. Bill became a member of Susquehanna's Board of Trustees in 1987 and served unfailingly for nearly 30 years, earning emeritus status in 2015. Bill will receive the honorary degree for his long history of service to Susquehanna University and our nation.
On May 16th, we will honor Dr. Sudeep Bose with the honorary degree Doctor of Humane Letters.
At Susquehanna, we prepare our graduates for lives of achievement, leadership, and service, and few have accomplished those three ideals with as much honor as has Dr. Sudeep Bose. Dr. Bose will receive the honorary degree for his immeasurable contributions to medicine, the country, and fellow servicemen and women. It is my pleasure to welcome Dr. Bose to the virtual podium to provide today's address.
Emergency physician, veteran, professor, entrepreneur.
Story of former U.S. Army Dr. Sudeep Bose.
Dr. Sudeep Bose. Dr. Sudeep Bose.
And read about Dr. Sudeep Bose's story in today's edition of the Daily Herald. This guy treated Saddam Hussein.
Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's just realizing there's something greater than that and going forward and doing your job.
Sudeep, remember that job at Little Italian Pizza?
Sudeep was born in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and grew up in the suburbs of Chicago. Growing up, Sudeep camped with the Cub Scouts and ran track for Naperville Central High. He graduated from Northwestern University's Feinberg School of Medicine. After graduating, he joined the U.S. Army. Dr. Bose's parents, Subhas and Aloka Bose, have always supported his ambitions. His mother knew early on her son had something special to offer.
My father passed away, and there was a PBS show about heart surgery, open heart surgery. And I sat down to see it. Sudeep sat with me. He saw the whole thing, then got up and said, I want to be a doctor.
During battle in the streets of Fallujah, Chris Kyle, known as the American Sniper, protected Dr. Bose's back as he rushed to injured soldiers to save lives.
Up in a building, on a rooftop, our snipers had our backs. Chris Kyle, amongst history's greatest snipers, Chris Kyle had our backs.
After receiving the Bronze Star for serving one of the longest continuous combat tours by a military physician since World War II, Dr. Bose felt his skills learned in combat could best be served in the busiest emergency rooms in the country. Serving side by side with courageous soldiers, Dr. Bose felt inspired to create the battlecontinues.org to provide medical support for veterans in need by helping them gain access to better health care and health education.
You're saying you're capable of being equipped and ready to deal with a mass casualty event that most closely mirrors war.
Dr. Sudeep Bose, you might remember him, he's a favorite guest on this show. He was among those treating Saddam Hussein after we captured him, won a Bronze Star. Think about that, serving one of the longest combat duty tours for a physician in history. So this man knows of what he speaks.
As a physician on the front lines of America's healthcare system, Dr. Bose has firsthand experience with the current, changing, and urgent medical needs of Americans. His vision is advancing healthcare for all by educating the public as a professor and public speaker, authoring a leading textbook in emergency medicine, continuing to inform the public through various media outlets, and waging a war on increasing healthcare costs by providing revolutionary solutions. Because even when the chaos of war or the emergency room subsides, the battle still continues to have a better understanding of our most valuable possession, our health.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, President Green, faculty and staff, including my childhood friend, Professor of Chemistry, Dr. Basu. Thank you, Susquehanna University Board of Trustees. Thank you, alumni. Thank you to everyone who welcomed me to Riverhawk territory. Thank you for the honorary doctorate. To me, this is a great achievement. What happens when Dr. Bose receives an honorary Doctor of Sciences? Well, he becomes Dr. Bose. Yes, I am Dr. Squared. Thank you, parents. This is your day, too. Susquehanna University Riverhawks. Achievement, leadership, service. These are noble ideals. I hope to be of service to you today. Age 23, I'm a third-year medical student at Northwestern University. There's a hierarchy. I'm on the bottom of the totem pole. Attending physicians, they wear gray coats. Resident physicians wearing blue coats. Someone who read a BuzzFeed article about a medical procedure once. And me. I'm still trying to remember which way to point my stethoscope. I'm charting in the charting room at Evanston Hospital. That's what you do as a medical student. You observe, you learn, and you chart your life away. Charting next to me was the resident physician. He was a hulk of a guy, an ex-college football player. That was a harsh contrast to my skinny, cross-country runner body type. Suddenly, the intercom blares. Dr. Hart, room 386. Dr. Hart, room 386. The resident springs out of his chair. He runs out in true football player style. His pen still spinning on the desk. His blue coat trying to keep up like a Superman cape. But the resident's name isn't Dr. Hart. He's Dr. Scheidler. Something wasn't adding up. A flurry of other healthcare providers were sprinting in the same direction. Dr. Scheidler returned. I looked at him confused. Who is Dr. Hart? Scheidler responds, No. Dr. Hart is our alert for a code blue. That's a true medical emergency. That means the patient has no pulse, his heart has stopped beating, and there's no blood beating to his brain. Every second matters. I had read about the heart, but this patient needed chest compressions, cardiac medications, electric defibrillation to restart his heart urgently. And I had not learned to do this yet. 1 week later, the intercom interrupts my rounds. Dr. Hart, second floor stairwell. Dr. Hart, second floor stairwell. I began running up those concrete hospital stairs like Rocky Balboa and arrived first at the scene on the stairwell to an unconscious patient and the two nurses who called the code blue. The nurses' eyes were on me. No, I'm a medical student. This guy needs a doctor. They looked at me confused. No. He needs a real doctor. In what seemed like an eternity, the real doctors arrived to provide him medical care. In that gray concrete hospital stairwell, I had a revelation. Wait, I'm becoming a doctor, but I'm not there yet. You are becoming what you're going to become, but you are not there yet. Graduates, you've just completed such a monumental feat. You did it. Congratulations. But you didn't become a college graduate immediately after high school. This achievement included multiple smaller steps, such as figuring out where your classes are, studying for that seemingly impossible exam, learning how to do your laundry. Your next steps from here will also be comprised of many smaller steps. There were endless steps in my next phase, like learning code blues. And there will be several smaller steps for you, too. Speaking of steps, Army Basic Training, summer, Camp Bullis, Texas. I'm climbing the steps of a rappel tower. Have you ever been rappelling? In this case, I have to rappel down a 7-story wooden wall, straight down, more than twice the height of Seibert Hall. Again, I'm the bottom of the totem pole. General, colonel, guy who read a BuzzFeed article on rappelling, and me. I'm facing my drill sergeant. His last name is Lynch. Lynch gives me 2 instructions, 2 simple instructions. Number 1, don't look down. I did the thing he told me not to do. But I'm not going to goof up his second instruction. His second instruction was, do not let go of the rope. I'm not going to let go of the rope. Are you kidding me? There's no way I'm letting go of the rope. I'm standing backward like an Olympic diver on my tiptoes, about to plunge to my death. Except there's nothing Olympic about this. I'm trembling. Lynch yells, go! I can't do it. He says, jump! I'm frozen. He lets go of the slack, and suddenly, I'm falling. And as I fall, I let go of the rope. I did the other thing he told me not to do. The belay guy saved me. He's the guy at the bottom holding my harness. I'm suspended mid-air, upside down, feet to the sky, head to the ground. I'm swinging like a pendulum. Lynch comes over the wall. He watches me swinging, and he says, Bose, you're a dumbass. Worse yet, I had to do it again and again until I got it right. But the next failures were not from looking down or from letting go of the rope. Those prior failures on the rappel wall helped me finally get it right so I'd be prepared to do it in combat off a helicopter. As you go out in the world, sometimes you nail it on the first try. Sometimes you get that acceptance letter right away. Sometimes you get the promotion. Sometimes you're hanging like a bug, upside down, swinging on a twig. Get up. Get up again. You don't rise to the occasion. You sink to the level of your training. You get up because the battle continues. Fast forward, early March 2020. I'm working my emergency room shift. I've risen a little by March 2020. I'm not the bottom of the totem pole. I was now quite a few notches above the guy who watched half an episode of ER. My 60-year-old patient lies in the hospital bed with indigestion. Just another day, pretty basic. I can get him feeling better and discharge him on his medications and move on to my next patient. Before we discharge him, the nurse and I look up at his monitor. Why did his oxygen level just drop? I'm suspecting there's something different here. Are you a smoker, sir? He replies, no. Do you travel internationally? He says, no. What do you do for a living? I'm a pilot. Something wasn't right. So I transferred him to the intensive care unit where they confirmed my suspicion. Then I got the dreaded call. He died. I had just seen the very first COVID case in our city. COVID just became real in my life. Now this invisible, microscopic enemy had arrived. The battle continues yet again. I'm scared. Going to work was different now, brand new. We didn't have enough protective equipment, not yet. N95 masks, for example. We hadn't seen this in the medical community before. How should we respond? Should we stay 6 feet apart, 10 feet apart? Is it transmitted by air, by droplet? All of us were scared. The entire medical community, including nurses, techs, EMTs, custodians, all of us who were on the front line. And it wasn't just the medical community. It was all of us. Susquehanna class of 2021, as you take the first of many smaller steps to reach that larger step, as much as you think you have it planned out, you don't know where that path leads. If you fall on that path, get back up and keep stepping forward, one foot in front of the other, and know that you are not traveling alone. We walk together as part of a community where we all grow and learn. All of us. Congratulations, class of 2021.
Please rise for the alma mater sung by Allison Steinert of the class of 2021. Please be seated.
During the conference of degrees in course, we ask the audience to hold applause until all graduates in each group have received their diplomas. Will each group of graduates please stand as your degree is announced and remain standing until all degrees have been presented.
Mr. President, from the School of Arts and Sciences, I present to you the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Arts. Will these candidates please stand?
Mr. President, from the Sigmund Wise School of Business, I present the candidates for the degree Bachelor of Science. Will these candidates please stand?
Congratulations to all of you. It is my sincere privilege now to confer your degrees. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Susquehanna University and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, upon the recommendation of the faculty and in the presence of all those here assembled, I confer upon each of you the degree for which you have been presented and declare you to be a graduate of Susquehanna University in the class of 2021, with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereunto. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the company of educated persons. Congratulations.
Will the graduates please be seated once more? I direct your attention in the program to the students who are graduating with honors as a result of their outstanding records. These include those receiving bachelor's degree who graduate cum laude with honor, magna cum laude with great honor, or summa cum laude with highest honor. Those completing senior research of distinction graduate with honors in their discipline. Graduates of the university's honors program are also identified by the honors medallion worn as part of their academic garb. Now I invite you to come to the stage as I call your name to receive your diplomas. Will the first row of candidates please stand and come forward? Mr. President, it is my great honor to begin the presentation of bachelor's degrees with diplomas for the valedictorians of the class of 2021 who graduate today with the highest grade point average of bachelor degree graduates. Class valedictorians are Brooke Bowes, Bachelor of Science in Neuroscience; Jason Ferris, Bachelor of Arts in English, Publishing and Editing, and Bachelor of Arts in Creative Writing; Noah Shaham, Bachelor of Science in Neuroscience; and Madison Williver, Bachelor of Science in Elementary Education. They are the first to receive their diplomas in their respective commencement ceremonies. Jocelyn Ugeri. Ahmed Anwar Al-Abbas, in absentia. Carter James Anistine. Alyssa A. Asik, cum laude. Matthew James Bennett, magna cum laude. Rachel J. Blackman, in absentia. Kristen Nicole Blair. Kayla Elizabeth Brown, cum laude, departmental honors. Samantha E. Brumajan, summa cum laude, in absentia. Gregory John Bulick. Madison Susan Burns, magna cum laude. Rachel Mackenzie Cataldo, summa cum laude. Abigail McGovern Conlon, in absentia. Matthew Brian Corrado. Erica J. DeLong, magna cum laude. Alexandra Judith De Pietro. Helen Doe. Dakota Dabrovich Fago. Ashley S. Earp. Jared Timothy Eastman. Heidi R. Fallon. Brandon J. Farron. Gavin Geiger, magna cum laude, in absentia. McKenna B. Hall, summa cum laude. Nicole Amber Hellick. James Z. Hornberg, cum laude. Maya Roxanne Janine. Tori Elizabeth Landon, cum laude. Lauren Grace Longacre. Jillian Leela Michaels, summa cum laude, departmental honors. Brandon C. Milbourne. Olivia Park, magna cum laude. Brandon S. Petrilli. Sydney Marie Potali, summa cum laude. Rebecca Ann Regal. Gabriela May Rubino, summa cum laude. Madison Daniel Schmauder, magna cum laude. Rebecca Frances Sebring, magna cum laude. Vivian F. Simone, cum laude. Emily J. Smith. Kathleen M. Smith. Andrew John Snyder, magna cum laude. Dylan Isaac Storr, magna cum laude. Caddy Ruth Stover, cum laude. Madeline Wright Taylor, magna cum laude. Kyle Patrick Trainer. Alexander Joseph Watusha, cum laude, departmental honors. Abdul Rahim Ahmed Al-Fadi, in absentia. Sarah Catherine Abragas, summa cum laude. Jake Atkinson, cum laude. Ryan Scott Baker, cum laude. Leonard Stephen Belinsky III. Zachary James Bosch. Christopher T. Bouchard, magna cum laude. Medzed M. Budabon, in absentia. Andrew Timothy Bowman. Kevin P. Bowser. Abby L. Boyer, cum laude. Eric William Breaker, cum laude. Harry W. Bridges III. Ryan Douglas Booker. Corey Zio Bohusky. Bryce Jeffrey Butler. Jacob Thomas Busler. Brianna Rose Caparucio, summa cum laude. Rachel Cassidy. Danielle A. Cavallo, summa cum laude. Andrew David Cooney, summa cum laude. Justin Tyler Carter. Kobe M. Cummins. Kiera Nucky Cunningham. Rory James D'Alessandro, cum laude. Caitlin Lane Daly. Seth Douglas Dougherty, summa cum laude, departmental honors. Brian P. Davis, Jr. Derek J. Dangler, magna cum laude. Frank James DePaulo. Cotton W. Dick. Glenn Andrew Dubron Jr. Lee William Eckert, cum laude. Riley Elaine Edmonds, cum laude. Kyle A. Engel. Taylor Marie Evans. Catherine Louise Fassbender, cum laude. Ashley Cole Forsey, cum laude. Morgan B. Fisher, magna cum laude. Jonathan E. Fromaya, cum laude. Julius A. Goyaba. Sarah Grace Goshorn, magna cum laude. Mariah Lynn Geisweit, summa cum laude. Bailey Noah Hackleberry, summa cum laude, departmental honors. Ariana Claire Haggerty. Catherine Stafford Han, cum laude. Seamus Finbar Hanrahan, magna cum laude. Madeline Streeter Harrison, in absentia. Tana M. Haight. Brittany Lynn Hebder, summa cum laude. Brandon Michael Heese. Luke David Henry. Andrew E. Height. Chandler Leonard Higley, summa cum laude. Lance William Hofer. Sarah A. Hoffman, magna cum laude. Brianna Joelle Isabel, cum laude. Cameron Everett Jacoby, in absentia. Paul Gregory Jason, summa cum laude, University Honors. Gavin Daniel Keller, summa cum laude. Cassidy Lane Kellogg. Owen Edward Kelly, cum laude. Michael L. Kemsky. Kieran Kennedy. Caroline Deanne King, summa cum laude. Marissa Marie Kleeman. John Kokoskini. Brian A. Kokoski, magna cum laude. Madison Lee Lane, magna cum laude. Cameron William Laudenslager, cum laude. Gregory Scott Lee Jr., cum laude. Demune Leonardi, in absentia. Jack R. Levy. James P. Loftus, magna cum laude, in absentia. Stephen James Lorenz, magna cum laude, in absentia. Elizabeth Marie Ludwig, summa cum laude. Taylor P. Morrow. Hannah Page Maycutt, magna cum laude. Erin Elizabeth McCabe, summa cum laude, in absentia. Jack David McCluskey. Isaiah Darnell McNair. William W. McNish, cum laude. Emma Margaret Menke. Scott H. Misson Jr., magna cum laude. Joseph N. Morante Jr. Catherine Moranta Rodriguez, cum laude. Jeffrey Lamont Morris. Christopher T. Neyman. Ethan Andrew Oakes, summa cum laude. Hannah Elizabeth O'Hara, magna cum laude. Henry David Parent, summa cum laude. Jeun Christopher Austin Park. Eric C. Patullo. Michaela K. Peachy, cum laude. Alec Daniel Pija, cum laude, in absentia. Stephen Jacob Pamakalski, summa cum laude. Michael D. Pugilis, in absentia. Antonio Augustin Puganzara, magna cum laude. Jack Edwards Ramarisa, in absentia. Madeline Taylor Reese, summa cum laude. Teresa Marie Rendina, summa cum laude. Sarah Elizabeth Ryder, magna cum laude. Taishera S. Robinson, cum laude. Zachary Tyler Rosigno, magna cum laude. Francis Joseph Ross IV, magna cum laude. Catherine Tia Ross. Edward Troy Rossman, in absentia. Sean T. Ryan, cum laude. Molly Ann Shelley, magna cum laude. Aaron Robert Skelly, cum laude. Michael Ryan Shermalik, cum laude. Miranda Catherine Solomon, magna cum laude. Nicholas B. Shuttle, cum laude. Kelsey J. Stolnecker, magna cum laude. Katie M. Stone, summa cum laude. Seth M. Strom, cum laude. Alex W. Tobin, summa cum laude. Natalia Turacek, magna cum laude. Alexander Wilson Van Worth, magna cum laude. Nathan Lawrence Van Kempen. Christopher Michael Ventry. Alexander Bobek Vandra. Griffith Gerard Waldron, in absentia. Brent Adam Walker. Lance Parker Welsh, cum laude, in absentia. Bailey Joe Winkus, magna cum laude. Jessica Lynn Wetzel, magna cum laude, in absentia. Kyle Williams, summa cum laude. Jordan Anthony Willis, summa cum laude, in absentia. Peter Francis Yaram, in absentia. Brent J. Yarnell, summa cum laude. Abby Lynn Yorn, summa cum laude. Gavin Scott Zena.
Beauty's conquest of your face in that land of flesh and bone, where from citadels on high her imperial standards fly. Let the hot sun shine shine on.
Members of the class of 2021, would you please rise? We are all very proud of you. As Joseph Casey Esquire stated at the laying of the cornerstone of Selinsgrove Hall 163 years ago as Susquehanna University began, education, in its legitimate sense, includes not only the cultivation of the mental powers, but the proper training and development of the moral sentiments and faculties, and its true object is to make us not only wiser, but better. As the newest Susquehanna alumni, I give you this charge. Achieve all you can for good. Lead with honor and humility. Serve with love and pride. And always strive to be not only wiser, but better. Congratulations.
I invite the rest of you to please stand as able as well as I offer this benediction for our graduating class. Holy One, source and ground of all goodness and life, we send these graduates forth from this campus in peace. Grant them courage. May they always hold fast to what is good. In our world of strife and division, may their lives bear witness to the deeper unity we all share, returning no one evil for evil, seeking always that place where justice and mercy meet. May their abundant gifts and talents grant them ever-expanding horizons to create, to discover, to seek truth wherever it may be found, and to find joy in connection and service to others. For the sake of this beloved world, our common home. In your holy names, amen.
We have a tradition of senior farewells at Susquehanna. Following the ceremony, we asked families and friends to remain at their seats until the students and the faculty have exited, and the students may proceed to Smith Field to greet one another one last time. On behalf of the faculty and the class of 2021, I officially close today's commencement ceremony.